Broadcasting from Park Avenue West, you're watching WMFD Television, Channel 68.1, Mansfield.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised.
Maybe an hour after we got the message that we lost Danny, Danny's sister said to us, we were all crying, and she says, "What do we do? What do we tell people?" And I'm like, "Baby, we got to tell them the truth. This is nothing that can be hidden, because otherwise the suicide will win."
We're not mental health professionals. It's just something that happened to our family. We direct people other places. And most important of all, I think, don't quit. Keep fighting. Keep living. Things will get better.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Sparking the Conversation. I'm Donna Heck. This is my husband, Jeff. We're with 33 Forever, and I'm very excited to be able to share with you stories about mental health issues and challenges. And tonight we have a very special guest, a special story.
The pandemic's been going on for nearly 2 years, and one topic that's never been discussed on our show is what's called long-haul COVID syndrome, and especially the mental health issues that relate to it. So tonight, we have a special show. We're going to be sitting down with Kelby King as we spark the conversation. So Kelby, welcome to Sparking the Conversation.
This is fun. I got to get used to this, though. I'm on the opposite side of the room.
Oh, a little bit different. I know you've been interviewed at least once on your own show. So
I have.
It's not completely different, but this is going to be a little different because we're going to be talking about you and your specific experiences tonight. And I know you don't really need any introduction about who you are and what you do, but you host Sitting Down with Kelby King here on WMFD, and have a lot of...
She's a rock star here.
She is a rock star. She is the star here at WMFD. Yes. No offense to others, but
it might be a little exaggeration. I don't know.
That's all right. We're prone to
I appreciate that compliment. Thank you.
Well, we're excited to talk to you tonight because as we've gotten to know you, and I think the thing the audience really ought to know is we wouldn't be here tonight. We would not sitting down with Kelby King. Sparking the Conversation would not be a thing if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned kind of offhandedly back at the beginning of 2020 an idea. And 2021, you jumped on it, ran with it, and here we sit.
Yep, I really do. You shared your idea, and I thought, now I can't stop thinking about this as a possibility. And I came back to you, and I'm like, you know what? I can't stop. I gotta let's do this.
Yeah. Well, you probably never even thought that we would want to have you on the show and talk about long haul COVID syndrome. Which why don't you explain what that means? To the general public, because a lot of people have never heard of it.
Honestly, I think it means something different to everybody with it. And everybody has their own story. And as you know, every COVID case is different. Every single one of them. Nobody's really the same. And COVID long haul is the same. And it's such a new, I would say, syndrome, I'm going to call it, because it's called, COVID long. There's so many different names for it. And post-COVID syndrome is one of them. And it's so new. I don't think we know a lot about it. But really, to boil it down, we had COVID, whether it turned into pneumonia or not. And weeks to months to a year later, we're still dealing with the symptoms, physically and mentally. And I think that's what really summarizes what it is.
So the reason that it's important for you is, and for those of you here, the audience doesn't know, maybe they do, Kelby's our executive producer here for our show. And during this last number of months that we've been working together, we've learned about your journey and your personal journey and your struggle, first with COVID-19, and then what's turned into, for you, unfortunately, long-haul COVID. So tell the audience, if you would, a little bit about that, Kelby.
Well, it's funny. I was diagnosed with COVID, and it quickly turned into pneumonia January 1 of this year, of 2021. January 1, I thought, well, this is the way to start the year.
And I do remember reading about that on Facebook and how serious it took. It
got really bad. And, it's now November, and I'm still recovering. And that's 11 months of recovery. Now, here I am. You just said, a TV personality. I'm a business professional. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm supposed to keep and do all those and perform at such a high level to be successful in my mind. I always have. Why can't I now? And I think that's the problem that a lot of COVID long haul sufferers, COVID survivors struggle with is the fact that I was this person and I can't be her or him. Now I'm this, and I'm letting everyone down. I'm letting my company down. I'm letting my family down, my husband down, whatever the case is. I'm letting myself down because I can't function like I was.
And we, we had COVID. We were very blessed with a light case of it. Our family had it. It went through many of our family members. And we'd heard of, symptoms that can linger. But, back in that time, in July to September, we hadn't heard of how serious it is because of how new it is.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of us long haulers, we have symptoms, but then we think, well, we don't have COVID anymore.
Yep.
So what is it? I'm going crazy, or I'm alone. Like, why am I the only one suffering with this? But the truth is, we're not. I mean, I just read an article yesterday. It was like a Facebook group with 20,000 people in it. They're all long haul sufferers that are still, they all have the physical symptoms, different. They're a lot different. They all have the mental,
brain fog.
The brain fog or the depressive signs, and that you start because you overthink and you feel less than. And so that's important for a lot of people to know that there are sites like that.
And I think that's a great place for us to take our first break. We're going to take a break here on Sparking the Conversation. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more about long-haul COVID syndrome with Kelby King here on Sparking the Conversation in just a minute.
We are more than a counseling center.
More than just a medication or therapy session.
What do I like the most? It's gotta be the team.
Providing the highest standard of care, that's just what we do.
And equipping patients with coping skills to be successful. That's so important.
It's simple. We are just hopeful. We are hopeful for our patients.
We are hopeful that we can help them find their way to a better balanced and more resilient self.
We are Hope 419.
Visit us today at hope419.com.
All right, Sunday's way better. Oh, no, you can't have this. I'm sorry.
Enjoy an order of large fries for free with a purchase of $1 or more, only on the app.
I wish I could go back in time.
But if love could have saved you, you would have lived forever.
If he only knew how many lives he had touched and how deeply his loss would be felt.
If only he had accepted help.
Maybe he would have stayed.
I am so glad someone reminded me that I'm worth it and will always be worth it.
I'm glad that I have people now that support what I want to do in my dream of helping other people.
Attention Zantac users. The FDA requested manufacturers to pull Zantac and products containing ranitidine off the market, noting exposure to unacceptable levels of a cancer-causing agent. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with cancer after regular use of Zantac or ranitidine products, you might be entitled to financial compensation. If you have colon, kidney, or any of these cancers, time is critical. Call now for a free consultation. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
Call 800-555-1212.
Changing the direction of country radio.
Country music's always going to be your home.
Little Big Town, Luke Bryan, Miranda Lambert.
Country music has never sounded so good. 97.3, The Spur.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised.
And welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. We are here with Kelby King talking about long-haul COVID syndrome. And some people may not know the symptoms of that. I was doing some research, which I could just probably ask you, but recent studies show that 20 to 30% or more have health problems for weeks to months, after
a year.
After being diagnosed. Some of the symptoms include shortness of breath, coughing, fever, fatigue, exhaustion, chest pain, depression, anxiety, brain fog, memory difficulties, insomnia, muscle aches, and I could go on and on, or you could. Yes. And it's to live with that for so long has to have a mental heaviness for you.
It really does. I'll be operating my day as I would have before, with energy, and then within the hour, it's like debilitating fatigue. So if I don't lay down right now and close my eyes, I will get sick. And it's debilitating. And that's what a lot of other sufferers say. It's debilitating. Other symptoms come and go. I mean, I know a lot of people who have the lung burn. It's just a burn. It's like your lungs are on fire. Not 24 hours a day, intermittent. Same thing with a lot of the other symptoms you named right there. I've seen them all in other people I know, and I've felt a lot of those as well.
So let's go back if we can, because that's even now in late 2021. But you started your journey, you said January the 1st.
January 1. 2021.
And talk a little bit about some of those early days, because you were a really sick person.
I really was. It's funny. I went to the hospital with my first signs, and we joke about this now, but they didn't know what it was. They said, "Oh, you're just tired." And I knew, because you know when you're sick. And
you had already been diagnosed with COVID a month before. How long?
Actually, no, not at that time. The very first time I went to the hospital, we didn't know I had COVID. They didn't test me either, which is surprising. I know.
It is.
Within 2 days, I was back. And I said, no, I'm really sick. I'm really sick. And I, of course, got the pneumonia. It had already progressed to pneumonia. That was followed by several other visits to the hospital. But you know what? I knew at that time a lot of people didn't have visitors if they were admitted to the hospital. You were alone. Who wants to be in a hospital? I thought, no, I can heal better, in my home. And thankfully, I had my husband there.
Yeah, there's a little video clip just to bring a little light. Just a little light to this subject.
He wanted to do anything in his power to bring the brightness. Because it was very dark. It was a very dark time. I honestly didn't know if I was going to make it. I couldn't hold a fork. And I mean, he was there for all of it. And he thought, I'm going to go. We had basically a hospital set up in our home. I'm going to go and I'm going to buy some things and some scrubs and a stethoscope and the whole 9 yards to make her smile. And that's what he did.
All right. So let's watch this.
Yes.
You brought us a video that's I may not appreciate.
Ryan, let's see this adorable video. Yeah. Well, I wish we had the music behind that.
That's a Michael Jackson song, we understand. And you were sitting, trying to recover in your hospital-like setting, and there's your nurse doing his best gig. So that's great.
We'll have to apologize to him later for that one.
There may be some paybacks coming.
But it worked. You said earlier, did you just laugh? And I'm like, well, I really couldn't.
Right.
And were you videotaping it yourself, or did he have it set
no,
up?
I did. I actually grabbed my phone. I was laying on the couch and started the record.
That's priceless.
But
it really is.
It is. But the seriousness of it, that thinking that this may be the end of everything, because we were losing so many people to COVID.
We really were. I mean, I remember going to that dark mental space thinking, I looked at my wedding rings and I thought, okay, this one's going to my oldest daughter, and then this one's going to my youngest daughter. And okay, what am I going to give my son, and what I want my mom to have? And, I thought I'm going to start making a list and, all those, because that's how you felt. That was your headspace. At that time.
So physically, you get past the very, very serious physical maladies, although I know you're still having those.
Yeah.
But that also has to take a huge toll on you, as Donna said earlier, on your psychology, on your mentality, on how you're feeling mentally. And I know one of the long-haul COVID syndrome symptoms is depression.
Yes.
It is. I know a lot of people who are severely depressed. I wouldn't categorize myself there, but what I can say is you tend to have those thoughts, those darker thoughts, when you feel, it's all symptom-based. When you feel the burn, when you feel that debilitating fatigue, or whatever long-haul symptoms you have at that time, you start talking to yourself and, I'm letting people down. oh, I'm a failure, or I can't be counted on. Any of those thoughts that, I can't operate like I used to. The biggest one, I think, is letting people down. I think that's the biggest one. And to those people like me who are successful and we drive and we're happy and we're supposed to have this face that's smiling. You've talked about on previous shows.
We talked about smiling depression. This is like smiling long
It really
haul.
is. You hide it, but then that's in the back of your mind. You're talking to yourself, and it's based on your symptoms.
So we need to take another break. We're going to take a short pause. We want to come back and we want to talk about how you found some support and some help and what hope there is out there for COVID long haulers. So we're going to be back in just a minute with Kelby King right here on Sparking the Conversation.
Catalyst Life Services, a comprehensive behavioral health organization, has been serving the community for 70 years. Our wide array of wraparound services and our ability to treat the whole person is what sets us apart. It's everything you need in one place: mental health, crisis, detox and addiction services, case management, and peer recovery support. We even offer vocational programming to get you back to work. Catalyst Life Services. Call today and get the help you need.
If you've been injured, whether personal injury, medical malpractice, or wrongful death, you are not alone.
And you definitely don't have to fight alone. While you focus on recovery, let the Heck Law Offices focus on your case.
With over 45 years of combined legal experience, we understand your situation and the entire overwhelming legal process.
With an injury you're already handling too much, let our team be your advocate.
I'm Jeff Heck.
And I'm Jeff Stifler.
We're Mansfield's Injury Lawyers. Call us today or visit us at hecklawoffices.com.
Careful, your regular old can opener leaves razor-sharp edges. Ouch! You need the new Safety Can Express. Now you can pop the top off and leave perfectly smooth edges on the lid and the can. Other openers use blades to cut through the lid, leaving razor-sharp edges. Safety Can Express actually unseals the lid from the side, leaving smooth, safe edges. Safety Can works on broken pop-top cans, dented cans, big heavy cans, small odd-shaped cans too. No more sharp steel when Safety Can breaks the seal. Call and get the new Safety Can Express for just $29.99. This offer is not available on Amazon. But wait, call today and you can double your order. Just pay separate fee. We will even ship it right to your door, absolutely free. Call now.
Call 1-800-318-6704 or visit safetycanexpress.com. So call 1-800-318-6704 now.
Welcome back. We are sitting here with Kelby King talking about long COVID. Remember, I want to tell the audience, we talk about all the symptoms, but most people do recover relatively quickly. And if you have this, we talked on the phone yesterday, and, they're not alone. They aren't making it up, and it's not an attention-seeking event. So where have you gone for support with everything that you have had going on?
That's a great question because it's so new. I tell other sufferers that I've met or that I hear from or whatever, I say, you have to wait till the world catches up with you. Mm-hmm. It's so new. COVID, we're still learning about COVID and the variants. We're definitely still learning about long haul. I mean, it wasn't even a thing. So those of us who got it early, in the pandemic, we're like, that's why we thought, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. I can't recover. I'm still sick. How is this possible? You had no resources. Mm-hmm. There's nothing. So the world is now catching up, doctors and all, and the resources out there. The best advice I have right now is search it. There's Facebook support groups.
Yep.
Search it. There's more and more online articles now about long COVID than there ever has been. Yeah. At first, there was very little.
And I see there's more research coming too. I just, as we were preparing for this, I found a couple of research articles and studies that they're finally doing. But, it's hard to have long haul COVID when it hasn't been going for a long time.
You're exactly
typically.
Right.
So the thing I have to believe that some of those support groups help you feel like it's not just you, that what you're feeling or what you're going through isn't just, am I going crazy? Have I just gotten lazy? What's going on with me?
You're exactly right. I was looking, I'm on a support group on Facebook, and one of the guys, a guy posted, and there was like thousands of people in this group. And one of them was like, hey, does anyone else get these headaches? And then so I start scrolling, so I'm kind of new to this particular one, and they're like, so many questions like, hey, is anybody else doing this? Or what do you guys do to help the lung burn? Or what? So it's that kind of thing. It's like, I have that. What do you do? What can I do, to help? And it's people that not only are experiencing the same things, but it's advice that a lot of people don't have. They really don't have because
there aren't those resources.
They're lacking at this point.
Yep. And the support you get from other people is similar to the support that we got when we lost Danny. You just need to feel like you're not alone in this.
That's the biggest thing. Because, we talked earlier, it's like, people with cancer or disease of any type or loss, any affliction, any trauma, it's easy to feel like, oh, I'm alone in that. And you never are. You never are. There's always people like you or worse than you or whatever.
But you have PTSD was another thing we discussed. You have to have that right now with everything that you've gone through.
And it's funny, Donna, because before we talked, I never thought that I would have had that, but I can see how I do have PTSD. I mean, it was such a traumatic experience at that time when I was in that dark, very sick state, to now it's like, oh, I fear getting a variant. I fear going to the store. Like, I fear it. I don't ever want to feel that again. You can't help it. It's like, that's a reaction to what I had experienced.
Yes.
And it comes in many forms,
So it's got to be still a day-to-day battle in your own mind about how you're feeling because of those things. I mean, we've all been afraid of COVID. We've all had worries about COVID for either ourselves, our loved ones, or someone else that we know, or we've seen people die. I mean, how does that play on your mental health? And then what are you doing to take care of yourself?
That's a big question, honestly. I've lost a lot of friends to COVID. And every time I hear someone that says, oh, so-and-so has COVID or I have COVID, my first thought is, oh my gosh, what are you going to be like in 6 months? How is your life going to change? It has nothing to do with the president having COVID. Right. It's everything. It's the long haul fear, you know what I mean, for that I have for them.
But looking at you and everything you shared, I'm sure, Kelby, people are going to be reaching out to you for help, for hope. And I wish we had more time, but we do have to go. But thank you so much for sharing it.
It's an honor to sit here with you guys. This is...
sharing your story is so important to the people out there. So we really do appreciate that.
We'll be right back with our memory moment. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Joe Trollian, the Executive Director for the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. Addiction to drugs and alcohol create a personal struggle as well as impact those around you. You are not alone. We have many professionals and organizations who care. Reach out for help today. Know it before you need it. Visit knowit, the letter B, the number 4, the letter U, needit.com.
Brought to you by the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board, growing and preserving a legacy of hope and success within our community.
Need a place to relax and watch the big game? How about great food and live entertainment? MVP's Sports Bar and Grill has it all. When it comes to food, MVP hits it out of the park, like the Reuben sandwich. Try our classic spaghetti with meatballs, the cheese ravioli, and the 3 meatballs with garlic bread, also the mammoth chicken salad, or try the antipasta salad. Check out their lunch and dinner specials on Facebook. MVP, the place to be on Park Avenue, or call 419-526-3061.
If you don't have final expense insurance, this message is for you. Life Care provides valuable whole life insurance to help cover final expenses, medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance, available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. To find out how you can get final expense insurance with a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, Call 800-372-5842.
And welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. We're at the part of our program we call the Memory Moment each week. And this week we're going to be talking about an event that we had actually about 10 days ago.
Yep.
And we had a raffle for a 2-carat round diamond. It was a gorgeous stone. And it was a gift from an anonymous donor.
Yep.
And just a beautiful, sparkly stone that we sold raffle tickets for at $133 a piece. And we sold almost 200 of them.
We did. And we actually talked about it on the show, trying to,
right.
Tell people that it was going to be Black Friday that we did the drawing. And if any of you missed the drawing, it was a little entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I dropped the diamond in the middle of the video, the live Facebook.
And he said, I hope I don't drop it. And then down it went.
Yeah, I did. I found it, fortunately. And the good thing is we have a really cool story. I think that's what you wanted to
That
talk
was
about
the
tonight,
point, yeah.
About the winner of that diamond, someone that we never met, we didn't know.
No idea.
But has a very interesting connection to 33 Forever and Danny.
It does. So we drew the name, and the name is Mark Grouper. And he bought 2 tickets, and we were talking to each other. We're like, do we know who he is? Mm-hmm. Nobody in our group and our board knew who he was. So then we called him up. He didn't answer because, of course, it was a number he didn't recognize. Right. He called Jeff back after he listened to the message. He was beyond flabbergasted and blown away. He said, I just gasped. Yeah. And my wife was like, what's wrong? What happened? And she goes, nothing's wrong.
Yeah, those people called me. We won that stone. So
Jeff asked, how did you hear about 33 Forever? And he said, let me get my wife.
So the cool part of that story is that his wife is actually best friends of one of Donna's cousins. And in the Stowe, Ohio area, they live up there, up near Akron, and we don't know them, but apparently years ago, when she was a younger child, and Donna's cousin, who's much younger, our kid's age.
Yep, and this young lady's 33 now, so she was about 5 years younger than Danny. Mm. But we'd have a family reunion every year. Mm-hmm. And she had told me, she goes, I was at your family reunions and I remember you, and we had it at the pond, and we're talking all about how she remembered us from, 20 plus years ago. Right. And of course I got emotional and covered in my Danny bumps.
And she got emotional.
Yes.
So anyway, it was a very cool story, and we've since met them and dropped the diamond off and hand-delivered it to them, and they're thrilled with it.
Absolutely.
And I hope that she wears that in good health. And it was actually a really cool way to end that drawing, because somebody that we had a connection we didn't even know. So that's kind of what 33 Forever's been about. Really, since we started this, we make connections and we interact with people that we had no reason to ever know. And
it's Danny's playing her chess game and putting people in our life, in our way, in our path, so we can make a difference.
Yep.
So that was very, very special, and we just wanted to share that tonight.
So that's our memory moment for tonight. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time on Sparking the Conversation.